This conference will now be recorded.
All right, it's just after 6 o'clock on Tuesday, December 19th. I'll call this official regular meeting of council to order. Around the table, we have on my right,
Councillor Graham Randall.
Steve Axworthy is just coming back to the table. My name's Penny McMorris, I'm the mayor.
Lon Turner, CAO.
And on the screen, Councillor
Ian
Kumka,
Chadsey.
Councillor Chadsey, and Councillor Kumka.
You're muted, Irwin, but we'll.
Erwin is muted.
Yep.
All right, so agenda, we have a motion to adopt the agenda. Oh, hang on, I didn't read mine. I respectfully acknowledge that we are meeting on Treaty 1 territory, the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, Assiniboine, and Dene peoples, and the homeland of the Red River Métis. We respect the treaties that were made on these territories. We acknowledge the harms and mistakes of the past, and we dedicate ourselves to move forward in partnership with Indigenous and Métis communities in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. Now I will move on to the agenda. Be it resolved, the agenda be adopted as presented. May I have a mover? Steve, thank you. Graham, second. Any additions to the agenda?
It's my understanding that you were going to carry the accessibility plan forward to a future meeting.
I would like to ask if council has had an opportunity to read the accessibility plan.
I have.
You have?
Yeah.
Erwin has. Ian, have you had a chance to read it?
Yes.
All right. I know, Erwin, you had some questions. I can add it to tonight's agenda, or I think it's okay if we wait until early January to put it on the agenda.
Might make sense to wait.
I can agree with that. I'd like to study it a little further in view of Irwin's suggestions.
Comments, okay. Erwin, do you have a comment?
No, next year's fine.
All right. I would, though, like to thank the Accessibility Committee for getting all of this done, updating it. And I did speak to one of the co-chairs. The other one is in our audience, about if we could put it over to January, and Rod was okay with that. So I think we're still way ahead of many municipalities in this province.
Yeah.
But I do want to acknowledge all the effort to date. So, okay, we'll put that over onto the next meeting. So anything
So
else?
we're okay with extending the deadline then? That doesn't affect things, I hope? Because there was
No.
a deadline of December 31st.
Yeah, I think we'll be okay.
Very good.
Yeah. All right, so nothing else to add to the agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Erwin? Okay, carried.
Yes, just assume I'm voting yes unless I come on and say no.
I don't think that's.
Not really.
That's not how it works, but okay.
We need to hear from
Just assume we all say
you.
yes.
Yeah, that's the opposite of the negative option.
Okay, so moving on to the
Did you get
minutes.
this?
The be it resolved, the minutes of the 5th of December 2023 regular council meeting be adopted as presented. May I have a mover? Steve, thank you. Graham, second.
Oh,
Bless you.
yes. Yeah, thank you.
And again, gentlemen, you had an opportunity to read the minutes that were sent around. Any comments, concerns?
There were some from some residents, but they were, like, everything is up to requirements and everything else. So.
Yes, according to the municipal act, minutes are to be made without note or comment.
Yep.
Yep.
And that's what we will be doing.
The minutes look fine to me.
I think maybe it's just only seeing the names of people who did respond. The few emails that I have been getting is that they were comments from people who previously were used to having
Correct.
comments on minutes, but that's exactly as you said, not what you're supposed to do.
No. And they can listen to the recording if they need to know,
Yeah.
wish to know.
And we have read the correspondence from a resident who stated his concern, and I think we're within bounds.
Yeah. And with all respect, like nobody's going to be going over to look at the minutes unless it's for legal reasons. They're going to go to actually see what people were saying. So.
All right, hearing nothing further, all those in favor of the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Ian? Thank you, Ian. Erwin?
Okay.
Thank you. All right, moving on to delegations, and JP Bernay is here tonight to discuss the Trails Committee and funding opportunities for improvements to the AB to BB Trail. So JP, I will give you the floor.
Okay. I guess my main reason to be here is for you to help us to help you. And I can repeat that several times this evening in my presentation, but we are really there trying to help the municipality. We have a single project in mind, which you've requested us to do in terms of projects. We have one project in mind, and that is the completion of AB to BB East, which stretches on the east side of Highway 59. We're talking the Sackey Road trailhead through Old Mill Beach, going towards the crossing on the highway. That's the stretch that we're looking to redo, to resurface, which was never completed in the past, which is kind of laid, neglected all of this time, unused and unloved. While we do want to improve the surface of this trail so it becomes usable. For who? Well, mainly for the kids at Albert Beach. The 6-year-old who's out with his mom trying to get to his swim lesson. Or somebody with mobility challenges who's on a mobility trike. What a boon to that community to be able to go from the BRA to Albert Beach and do it safely off the highway. There are a number of challenges in our proposal. One of them is certainly Old Mill Beach. How do we, it's such a hurdle to get across that sand. It's a barrier on that trail. For the person with a mobility trike, for example, trying to cross, he's got to get off, dismount, and actually plow through 2 sand dunes. And the same thing with a 6-year-old going to his swims lesson. And you do, all of us do, except for guys like Bob Marshall.
Well,
yeah. Anyway, the point being is that if we can do this, if we can complete this trail, then it will get used. There's already been $118,000 spent in the past. It really behooves us to see it completed and used. I mean, this will be the first project that we'll be doing with you. And then next year, it could be another segment of that trail, and we keep moving on and on and on. Who the funders are is TCT, who are there. That application closes January 8th. Thankfully, as you know, that was extended.
Yeah.
That was a Hail Mary.
yeah.
We have Trails Manitoba application on January 12th. So there's 2 levels of government that we can reach out and assist in funding for you guys to complete this trail. I know that that trail has been on the agenda for council. This would be an opportune time to complete it with our assistance as much as we can. I can work with Juan on those applications, fill them out as much as I can. The parts that he needs to provide for us would be a detailed budget. I don't have an idea of what to schedule for that. Also come up with a schedule. When do we want to do this? In April, May of the next year? And of course, you would have to sit down and do that kind of planning. But I do feel it would be well worth to do that planning, to spend the day doing that, because it'll save you literally tens of thousands of dollars from your tax base. So that's it in a nutshell. No, it isn't. I should just mention that because, and believe me, I have reached out to trail groups all over Manitoba, trying to find a solution to Old Mill Beach.
Right.
How do you get across the sand? And unfortunately, all these trail groups have their own geography and their own challenges, but they don't have what we have. We have public accessing the beach. Got to be careful what kind of infrastructure. It'll turn into a bonfire. You have people, disabilities trying to get through, children trying to bike through. You have ATVs seasonally that use the trail. That really compounds the solution. So I have requested a trail consultant, and that will be part of the package that's going to go to TC. It's going to be an added expense, but I feel that I'm at the end of my limit of trying to find a solution for that problem. Because I don't see an easy one. It's not going to be easy. You have to consider all of these factors, and it really, let's turn it over to the pros. Let's turn it to people who actually do this stuff as a living. Let's them find a solution. They will reach out and find one.
Right.
Maybe it's been done in the States, who knows? But that's going to be part of the equation. I would also like to budget in there, and I'm not sure how we're going to do this, but if they have a solution that's going to cost X number of dollars, are they just going to consult and say, well, here it is, here's your solution, but it's going to cost you 15 grand? Well, I would like to place in a budget some kind of amount to actually cover it. Because I think that if we do this thing, but we don't remove the barrier that those two sand dunes are, well, we're not there yet.
Yeah.
I would like to see this thing completed for us, for future generations. And I'm hoping to find you guys your support. So would council be willing to give us a letter of support to go to the province, Trails of Manitoba, and go to TCT? I guess that's the big question.
I think we could do this internally, the RM, do the application. You've done a lot of legwork already.
And I think you could talk to Public Works about what they can contribute
Yeah,
in
for
terms of
sure.
equipment and
Yeah.
time.
Most of the grant money could go to materials to fill
Yes.
the pack, right? That's
Yeah.
what we're hoping.
Yeah.
Does it all need, this is off the mark, but does it all need to be A-base, or can some of it be our own pit run? Because that affects the cost a great deal.
By and large, you're going to have to get a base on there as a topper, like to finish it off.
Right, but the level.
And
fill
yeah,
it with
yeah,
years.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So we do have our own pit run that we could put in there.
Yeah, to
Well,
help,
part of it.
yeah, for the layer below.
But like JP said, if you've got someone who knows, who does this kind of thing or consults on this kind of thing, they could say, okay, put in the A-base, put in geotextile, put in those honeycomb things that
Geocells.
geocells that would hold the stuff in place. And then you put A-base over top of that, right? I mean,
Do we not need to inquire how much such a consultant might cost us?
She's going to be offering a quote. I'm still waiting on it.
And sorry, just to clarify, that part is not for this particular stretch that you're wanting to do on the east side. That's for,
It
it
is.
is, okay.
Yeah.
So that's the relevant item, and you'll share that with us as soon as you do.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Any idea what range it might
Do-
be?
I know.
I have no
Do we-
idea. We're still waiting for the quote, the supply of your base.
go ahead, Ian, sorry.
Sorry, I just had a question. Do you have a rough idea or a rough range of how much this thing would cost?
Well, again, paper napkin, really paper napkin cost, I would say probably about 60. That's a really, really rough estimate that could be less or could be,
Sorry, did you say 60?
yeah, $60,000.
60,000. And are you thinking $60,000 is going to come from two levels of government?
No, the RM would have to contribute a third, the province a third, and TCT a third. That's usually how the formula works.
Okay, and just last question, the trail that's in place today, did the RM contribute to that financially?
Yes.
Yes, we did.
Absolutely.
To actually
Yeah, you guys spent about $34,000, though a lot of that original money with Red River North Trail was crossing the marsh.
Yeah,
Putting in the golfers and that was a big leg, and we were so appreciative of that happening. It would have never happened, but they did it.
Also, some background, Ian, is that this trail has never been completed. Like, we were supposed to get it done, and I don't know how it's been like left this long, but it's just never been finished. So it's a project that is still outstanding.
Well,
Yeah.
from what I heard from the delegation, it sounds like this is more of an accessibility for people that are in need of some sort of extra help getting across this trail? Am I correct there, or is it just an extension of the trail?
Okay, to answer that question, it is accessibility. Part of our mandate, Victoria Beach Trail Association, I have a board member right behind me, is to reach out and make sure that the services that we're putting in are going to serve his community. It serves our community. Part of the challenge with this trail is that people will use asphalt before gravel. It's a lot easier to ride on asphalt. We have families, we have kids that are riding on a highway. We've always wanted to get them off that highway on this infrastructure that gratuitously is there at costs of tens of millions of dollars that's begging to become a trail.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's okay with council, he was addressed.
Sorry, just so I can preface this, Ian and Erwin, Mike Bellhouse is here, and Mike is on the Trails Committee with JP. He's also here on behalf of accessibility, and he would like to speak if council is all right with that.
Yeah, I think it would be
On this
appropriate.
project?
I basically say that the main focus of this trail improvement is not accessibility. The main thing is for cyclists and hikers to be able to use the trail easily.
Yeah.
Part of it is getting it up to speed or up to a certain level so that it can be an accessible trail too for people in wheelchairs or mobility scooters, et cetera, et cetera. But the main focus is for people that are cycling or hiking between Albert Beach and Victoria Beach.
Well, the purpose serves both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does.
You get something that you can use
Yeah.
on your trike. We want something that we can use on our bike. It serves the same groups, both
Yeah.
groups. And that's really what we want, something that is similar to what you find on David Road
Yeah.
that you guys have been doing for decades.
Mhm.
You've got it down. It's not rocket science. It's not inventing anything. That's the surface that we're looking for.
But David Road is not a trail,
No,
right?
it's a road.
Yeah.
But it's not asphalt either.
It's not asphalt, exactly.
David,
And,
yeah.
and just as a decent comparison, I mean, like if you're going to, if you're going to have a choice between cycling on one of our A-base compacted roads versus cycling on a stretch of gravel, I mean, you know, that's a fairly decent comparison. So, you know, when you're talking about people who are walking or cycling on it, it's just not navigable right now. Like it can be, but it's not. Like you're obviously not going to choose it, which was the whole point of building this.
That's right.
So yeah, like it's not.
I have another question.
Sure.
So just getting back to the financing side, so if it's $60,000, let's just say as an estimate, and the RM puts up 20, does that mean Lon has to do the applications to the two levels of government to get the other 40, or is that something that your association does?
I think that we could work together. I can certainly supply the majority of what he needs for that application. And once it's done, there are stages in that application. You can actually stop, save, and save it as a PDF file. It can go out to everyone, and we can make sure that council is aware of what decisions are being made. And at the end of it, we can also have TCT hold back until we have final approval of council.
And one piece of that puzzle is the quote that you're expecting from the consultant.
That and the supplier of A-base. Two
Well,
quotes that we're waiting.
That's $35 a yard. It's just a question of how many yards.
Was the consultant mandatory for the application? I didn't get a chance to read.
It wasn't
through.
mandatory, but
Well,
you could have had it. I think.
JP
Strongly
suggesting that we need it.
Well, we can drop it off. That's another thing. We're not bound to this consultant.
It's just not a requirement of the application.
No.
Okay.
Strongly
It
recommend.
might be a good investment. We won't know till we see it.
That's right.
When I read the grant application, it's something that you could apply for within the grant,
Yeah.
but it's
No,
not
yeah,
mandatory.
consultation fees, big time. Yeah, we do it all the time.
And then, I mean,
Just so I understand, then, what's the purpose of the consultant? Are you talking an engineer to design this thing or to overlook? I mean, what is the consultant going to do?
Primarily to get over the barrier that the sand dunes in two places preventing people from using the trail in a manner that is comfortable.
I think, Ian, it's similar probably to Lost Lagoon, you know, the stairs that go up and over the sand dune that continually
Okay,
get sanded in. I think on a smaller scale, that's what we're facing with the AB to BB trail. So it's finding a way to build that up in those two areas so that the sand doesn't continue to blow in, I think.
That's right.
And
Absolutely.
it could be a two birds with one stone situation, because the person could like, whatever solution is there, it might not be one considered for that as well.
Yeah.
So, potentially.
So, whether or not we need that is still to be determined.
Yeah.
And then it's also connecting the two areas of Victoria Beach, the island and the mainland, in a way that's safe, but would also allow our community to really be united. And then more so, I mean, if you want to talk about business, I mean, it means a little bit more business for a Safi store and allowing people to go down there in a safer capacity. So,
Yeah.
But like I've been for finishing the AB to BB trail the whole time. This is especially a very, I don't say profitable grant, but it's a grant that would save us a lot of money from the taxpayers if we're to be able to get awarded it and complete this trail.
Yeah. And so this is something that we would have to budget for in 2020.
Well, as JP has pointed out, if there's a line in the budget, it's probably going to happen. If there's nothing in the budget, forget it.
All right. So I don't know that a letter of support from the RM is necessarily what you need, but because if the RM helps to fill out the application, and we would probably have to sign it, right? The RM.
Okay.
So that's essentially, I don't know, if you need a letter of support, Lon's got a letter of support that you could write up, but
Yeah. I don't know. How complicated was the application? Was it multiple pages or was it like two?
multiple.
There are parts that are kind of difficult to understand. And I've been on the phone with GCQ trying to get some answers,
Okay.
but I have had some answers already. So already that's blazing the trail. It's not that complicated. And as
I think we could get it in from the RM.
Okay.
Before the deadline.
This week is probably almost a write-off. Right.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and then Lon's back in the office on the 2nd. And it's got to be in by the 8th, by the Monday.
That's correct.
So maybe that first week. Are you still around?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so a letter of support is a moot point at this stage.
If you think it's required, we could do one.
Or is it required?
Well, I think to the funders, we're going to be presenting 5
Right.
different letters of support. I think one from the municipality that's missing. They're going to wonder,
Right.
well, where's the municipality? Even though you're filling out the thing,
Yeah.
I think it would be required. I think
Okay.
it's part of
Can
that.
council agree
support.
here and now on a letter of support?
I can do that.
You're already in my position, yes.
Steve,
Okay,
yes.
yes.
Frank, yes. Ian?
Ian,
what's that?
a letter of support.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with the letter of support. As long as Lon's fine with, getting involved with the paperwork and all of that other stuff, I'm fine with it.
Okay, Erwin?
Agreed.
All right.
Okay, it's unanimous.
There you go.
We'll just touch base when I get back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've done lots
So
of these.
January 2? Oh, we'll wait till January 7th.
No.
No, we
You
won't.
can if you want, I'll throw it up.
Thanks for coming, JP.
All right,
All right.
we'll talk again. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Steve. Thanks, Penny.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Graham. And Ron, we'll be
Okay,
talking.
yeah, thank you.
All right.
Both doors are locked.
The door's locked if you want. Oh, you want to keep it in the back.
No, you can go out the back if you want.
Yeah. All right, so we will move on. Thanks again, JP. We'll move on to committee reports. Public Works.
Yep.
Weekly garbage pickup is on Monday. Don't forget the garbage and recycling depot is closed every Tuesday and Wednesday all winter. Because of the warm weather, Public Works has been able to continue with underbrushing, dead tree removal, and brush removal. However, we ask that residents not pile brush on the road allowance right now. The rink has been flooded a couple of times, but the fluctuating temperatures are causing melting, then freezing, leaving the ice surface a bit rough. Roads and parking lots are being sanded regularly. Once we do get snow, windrows will be removed upon request. please contact Public Works 48 hours in advance. We currently have a list of 95 requests for windrow clearing, so we may not be able to get to everyone in a day. To make it easier, Public Works must be able to see your cottage or home address. Another reminder to everyone that potable water is available at the Victoria Beach Fire Hall and the Albert Beach Pump House. Water is tested monthly through the winter. E-service requests can be made from the RM of Victoria Beach webpage. Preventative maintenance is ongoing on all municipal equipment. And there will be a crew, someone will be at Public Works over the holidays, regular working hours, in case there's an emergency or anything like that.
Just before the, or sorry, you had to finish first.
No, I'm done.
Just for the two water outlets, can we replace those with ball valves? Because they just keep flowing after they're done.
Yeah, that was a pretty good suggestion.
It's literally like on off.
Hot valve, ball valve, they're much less problematic than the washer valves that we have now. And that applies at Albert Beach and at the fire hall.
It also prevents people from like cranking it, trying to stop the water because they don't realize it's going to keep flowing for 30 seconds.
And if Public Works decides that they would rather have a plumber do it, we've got 2 or 3 plumbers we can call on.
Yeah. Shutting up the water and replacing it. Yeah.
All right, good suggestions. I'll pass it along.
Great, thank you.
So I'll move on to fire protection, Steve.
My emails are completely on. So I did contact Brad ahead of this. He said that he doesn't have any concerns. I have no idea what the numbers are because again, I don't have what I need. Yeah, he was saying that there aren't any major concerns going around right now, except for one that's coming out rapidly for the spring and summer, which is that there are going to be exceptionally dry conditions. And the water table has not been restored yet from the 5 years of drought, which means that we are going to be seeing another drought year moving forward, which means that following through with all the fire prevention that council has been trying to get our residents to move forward with is absolutely necessary to prevent a catastrophic wildfire in the RM.
And they did have a good training session in the gravel pit. I think they had 3 vehicles that they were practicing on. A couple of them, 2 or 3 of them, maybe all of them, they set on fire and they practiced extrications, and yeah, it was quite something. Right. Erwin, do you have a police report for us?
Yes, I do.
Great.
Activity levels in November tailed down, which is a good situation. A couple of highlights. There was 1 arrest in November. I don't have the details of the arrest. There was 1 assist to the RCMP in Powerview. There were no break-ins, and I'd like to point out in 11 months of 2023, there have been 3 break-ins into sheds or garages and 1 break-in into a residential cottage. That's for 11 months, and I think, you know, we owe a debt of gratitude to our police. They're much more visible, and the number of break-ins has substantially been reduced, which is good news. This is an interesting one. The police carried out 13 foot patrols in the month of November. I don't know where they were walking, but more power to them. There was 1 issue involving an impaired driver, and bear with me. There were 6 highway traffic tickets involving speeding issued. So again, our police are out there making people slow down, and that's good news. That's all I have for the report to date. Thank you.
All right, any questions? Graham?
Erwin, just to add on to your police report, just as a matter of interest, the 2 new computers that the police office required are in place and running very nicely. And the tough book, the mobile unit, which is quite a bit more expensive, the jury's still out on which way they want to go with that. So we've made definite progress in bringing them into the 21st century with their computers. Pardon me for that, Erwin, but I thought it was worth mentioning.
Thank you, Graham. Just as an add-on, the police board did meet last Saturday, and the issue of computers came up. And there are some there's some work being done with some local, not local, but national providers of communication services. We hope to be able to improve our police force's ability to determine, for example, if there's an unregistered vehicle or if a person has an outstanding warrant, and to do that much faster. And the ability to gain this kind of knowledge will do two things. One, if there's a real bad apple out there, then it provides a warning signal for our police constables. Remember, in wintertime, there's only 2 of them around and only 1 at a time. And secondly, our ability to apprehend people who may be coming into the community to do bad things. If we can identify them with some improved technology, then we can send them away with not interested, not welcome in Victoria Beach. But I say no decisions have been made on the computer technology piece. It's being studied. Mike Bartmanovich is offering some assistance. He's knowledgeable in that area, and we will be reporting in due course. We did begin the process of working on the police budget for 2024.
Good.
Thanks very much. All right, move on to finance. Ian, do you have a report?
Yes, I do. The operational budget, there's cash in the bank. If you look at the number, I think it's a bit higher than it should be. There's going to be about $350,000 being transferred into the reserve fund. Lon was mentioning that to me the other day. As far as it should be a balance between revenue and expenses. I think for this year, we might see a surplus of about $50,000 at year end. The revenue year to date is about 3.6 million. The budget was 3.46. I have to mention, since it's my portfolio, the golf course revenue was 217,000, and the budget we had was 190, so they came in higher than budget, which is a good thing. As far as expenses go, year to date was 3.1 million. The budget was 3.45, so it's showing a surplus of $533,000. So I think we're in pretty good shape, and that's thanks to Lon. So that's all I have. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Any comments, questions?
I'm going to do that.
No, we're projected to be slight surplus of 50 to 100 at the most. Right now, he was saying there's 500,000, but I need to transfer all the money to the reserves, which will come out of that. We still have another payroll to do this Friday, and hydro and bills and other expenses. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
And that'll go on into January.
Yeah, we'll get more invoices in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're on the right side of the numbers for now.
Yeah, when it's tax time, we'll be asking some questions.
Yeah, no, I think we've done
Yeah,
it.
right.
All right,
I
thank
did-
you,
I
Ian.
did well.
And golf course, Ian? Anything to add? A little quiet there right now.
Yeah, sorry. No, I'm just pleased that the golf course came in about $30,000 over budget on, sorry, not over budget, but generated $30,000 over the revenue budget, which is a good thing. I don't know where we stand with resumes. Lon, maybe you might want to comment. Have you received any resumes for the superintendent job?
I've had 2 phone calls, one today and one 2 weeks ago. No formal resumes though.
So put the word out, we're still looking.
The job
So
is
are we
still-
on Indeed and some of the other sites to just get the word out?
What was the question? You kind of.
Are you on Indeed or any other?
I'm on Indeed. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of garbage through that. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's on the Golf Manitoba Superintendent's Job Application Board. So I think that's where I'm getting my 2 main phone calls from.
What about the free?
And Carl is asking,
There
letting
is one.
people know,
Okay, good.
and it's on our website.
It was in the free press.
It's on AMN.
It's on
All right.
the
It's on AMN.
Okay,
Yep.
So we're putting it out there.
Sounds good. Well, maybe January, February, we should maybe think about getting some help if we're not getting any interest in the job, because obviously we need somebody to sign up and take on the responsibility.
Yeah, we do. All right. Thank you. I would like to add, though, there's not enough snow for groomed cross-country ski trails yet. They need about 8 inches. I don't know what that is in centimeters. Although some people have gone out there and skied on it, but it is not being groomed. There's just not enough snow yet.
I don't know how the hell you're skiing on, because I mean.
Very slowly.
Very slowly.
Yeah, but you'd be destroying your ski.
Well, so maybe they have garbage skis they use. I don't know. But, all right, municipal buildings and building inspector, Graham.
For the first time this year, I have nothing new to report under municipal buildings. So that saves us a bit of an ordeal going through it all. I would like to take this opportunity, though, to sincerely thank our local contractors and tradespeople. You know who you are. I don't need to list them all, for their help and support in getting our jobs done on time and within budget. We'd be lost without our contractor friends, especially when it comes to asking for quotes. It goes on, and they've been very, very patient and supportive. And also a sincere thank you to our Public Works Department, who have contributed in many ways to the maintenance of our municipal buildings. So thank you, Public Works.
All right, thank you. Building inspector?
Huh? Oh, yeah. That's the squeaky wheel, the squeaky pen. All right. Building inspector. Thank you, Curtis, for your report for the month of November. Activity is dropping off significantly. We have 2 alterations, 1 demolition, 1 addition. Value of permits, $83,000. Must have been a pretty substantial addition. Year to date, $8,712,000 in permits. Somewhat shy of a record of 12 million a few years ago, but that was a peak. The fun part is the permit fees collected, $1,400 in November, for a total of $62,000 year to date in fees collected.
Wow.
So good for us, and thank you, Curtis.
Yes, thank you, Curtis. All right, any questions on buildings or inspector?
Like for me, I'm just bringing this up again, like when it's said that activity is dropping off, that spooks me, because I'm always worried about going back, because it will happen where eventually the permits being taken out are not going to pay off our building inspector's salary. So then that is the whole pain for the individual on something that should not be a social program. So I'm very much in favor of increasing permit fees, especially when you're taking a look at that type of a discrepancy between how much we're bringing in versus how what we brought in year to date. It's just, I'm nervous that we're going to go back to that system sooner than later.
Thank you for that, Steve. You've mentioned it several times, and it's entirely appropriate for us to make sure that these permit fees cover our costs of providing the inspector. But we've agreed that it would be reviewed annually.
Yeah, no, I know.
So you'll have to hold us to our commitment on that, and I know you will, so thank you.
All right.
There's one more thing to add to that, though. It's not just the permit fees. It's also the increase in the taxable assessment that you have, that you need him to approve all this stuff. And so like last year was it really added a lot to the surplus this year. So that's a big portion.
Well, yes, our building inspector contributes to our overall bottom line revenue far in excess of the value of the permits.
Yeah, he's part of the process.
Yeah.
Protecting to make sure that things are being built the way they're supposed to be built.
And that benefits the entire community. All right. Thank you very much. Doctor.
So email issues again, but from what I've been able to discern from the few that have actually been coming through, although then I see that I've missed about 30 emails in between, is that the procurement of doctors right now is going well compared to what it has been in the past. So my understanding is there were people in the community who've actually been watching the videos of it and contacting their doctors and asking, so that's helped. But I'll just say it again, if you know any doctor, there's not a lot of them in Manitoba, if you know any doctor who might want to have a working vacation, please send them our way, so that way we can load up the schedule.
Are we prepared to include nurse practitioners in that?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
It's just determining how they get paid, I think,
Yes.
is the issue,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They have to be under a physician, is my understanding at the moment, or something like that.
There's something that they need to get. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. I don't want to speak of it.
Right, okay, so, but
Okay,
I
and
think it would be
the
great.
doctor's committee is
On board with that.
in good shape and
Yeah.
up and running and.
So far it looks like it's really good. I've asked to speak to them with a formal meeting so that we just all get on the same page, because again, this is driving me nuts. But it looks good for next year.
Good, thank you very much, Steve.
Thank you. Accessibility, well, we talked about that on the agenda additions and talked a bit about it with JP's plan. Other than the accessibility committee working on the update, which I thank you for, I don't think we have anything new to report.
Are there any significant changes?
I don't believe there's significant changes. It's just an update. It's correct.
Yeah, and the to-do list requires constant
Yeah.
maintenance and updating, of course.
So, and I think there's a response to, Erwin, you had some concerns. I think there's a response coming your way. It's been written.
I look forward to seeing that.
Okay, good. All right, so nothing further for that. Communications, I can say that an update on the shoreline project, King Edward and Alexandra, has been put on our website. Under local notices, we'll be updating it, I guess, from time to time, perhaps with our engineers' reports. Someone was concerned that I said there were no rocks on the beach at an earlier council meeting. What I meant was I'd received a complaint that there was sand being moved around or added to the beach. There was no sand being added to the beach, but yes, of course, this is a revetment with rocks. So yes, there were rocks added to the beach, but I don't know where the confusion came, but if I caused it, my apologies.
Well, then they had to do some trenching to make room for the rocks.
They did.
And
So
naturally, they would have deposited that on the bank.
they deposited the sand on, in front of the trench.
Well, bonus.
And they did some rocks that may have been there, may have been put back in the trench. And then, of course, they did bring in more rocks. They're
Okay.
bringing in rocks in all the time.
Yep.
So I'm sorry if I didn't explain myself well. Anything else from you, Steve? Get on Connect?
Yeah, I mean, that's the,
Okay. All right.
just send a message out on Connect to get them, to be on Connect.
But how would that work? Because if you're not on it, you won't get the message.
Well, that's the point, is because sometimes I feel.
If you don't receive this
saying,
message,
like-
let us know.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, I feel like sometimes, like, I've almost stopped saying it because it's like talking to a wall sometimes.
But we do have a good number of people on it.
Yeah.
All right, we've had a presentation from Trails.
So with, you'd already basically taken them about myself from last
Oh,
one,
darn
which
it.
is that, so the cross-country ski group is ready to go the second that they're able to. They're measuring regularly, but, there's not much point in measuring right now. So, they're going out and just taking a look, but once it does come time, they will measure to ensure that it is deep enough throughout the entire trail. So, once you do see that rumor, it's been measured, so
Yeah.
don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But hopefully it's coming, but it's not even remotely close.
No,
And if you really want to go out and destroy your skis, then by all means, have fun with that.
Yeah. But I do notice we've had a few really good winds. You probably felt them. And just walking around the beach, there's a lot of trees down on people's property and probably on some of the trails for sure.
Yeah. And all the trees look exactly the same. They're nice and bright green, and they're falling down because that's what they're designed to do. They're fuel, but they also are fire
Yeah.
hazards.
Yeah, so.
Conifers, get rid of them. Replace them.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Friends of the Inn, Graham, you've got a lovely update from the architecture.
Yes, thanks to our friendly neighborhood architect, Dean at Unit 7, we have a fresh, right from the printers, project update number 4. It's contains a lot of photographs. So I'd asked Lon, with council's consent, to put it up on our website so everybody can see it. We've got very good feedback from the first ones that we put up. And just to brush over the construction status, the formwork for the footings and the pads have been installed. The concrete footings and the pads have been poured. The foundation drainage system installed and gravel crawl space bed has been completed. The ICF walls are installed and concrete poured in the walls. The crew is replacing 4 floor beams on the original building. It was found that there was only 2 of the original floor beams showed any significant signs of deterioration. The rest of them were all good. We knew this before we started, but it's nice to have it confirmed by experts. And they are working to replace or upgrade the ones that had started to get a little bit moldy. The building will be lowered onto the new foundation walls shortly after the Christmas holidays. And for further information, please take a look at the pictures. They're very well done. It explains it all. And it'll be up on our website by this time tomorrow. Thank you very much.
All right, any comments, gentlemen? Oh, looks like we've lost Ian.
I love ICFs, they're just so cool.
I've seen them before, and
Okay.
Lon and I were talking about it earlier, and Ron used them in his house, so.
Yeah. Oh, they like you install them so quickly, but what's cool is that it's Lego. Like the inspiration of it was from Lego.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Needless to say, not only our project manager, who is Unit 7 architect, but our selected general contractor, Drew Allred from Allred Construction, has done a wonderful job in keeping this moving. The pace at which they've been able to accomplish things, maybe in some part due to the weather, has just been amazing. We're way ahead of schedule. Lon asked earlier, will the new kitchen be in place and will it be open and 100% operating this summer? That remains to be seen, but so far, so good.
That's great, thank you. All right.
Mayor McMorris,
Go
can
ahead,
I have
Owen.
a couple of minutes just to update everyone on the committee that I attend, the Northeast Community Health Committee, dealing with some health issues?
Absolutely.
I had circulated to council the minutes of a previous meeting, and just to update everyone, whenever I get a chance, I attend these meetings, and I continue to needle the health authorities about lack of medical first responders. I finally got a chance to talk directly with a gentleman by the name of Dr. Grierson, who is a senior person in the province with respect to medical first responders. And maybe, just maybe, we might be making some headway there. It's a challenge getting through the bureaucracy, but the last meeting, I saw the glimpse, a little bit of hope filtered through. In essence, what we're trying to do is see whether or not we could get any of the previously certified medical first responders in our community to be allowed to work without having to go through the new levels of education that is now being required by the College of Paramedics. So that's just an update. There's nothing specific, nothing concrete yet, but it's the first time we've seen any indication that there might be some flexibility there. So as you know, I feel very strongly that Victoria Beach needs medical first responders. If there's an accident, if someone has a medical emergency, if you're lucky, an ambulance gets there in 30 minutes. The more likely scenario is like an hour or so, because we're looking at ambulance services coming from Pine Falls, Powerview, and depending on where they have been, they may not even be in Powerview or Pine Falls because they're dispatched up to, say, Bassett, or they're transporting someone into the city. So we very, very, very much need our local medical first responders. And I continue to needle the government on that issue.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Erwin. We
Yeah.
appreciate you sticking with this.
Yeah, go ahead.
This last week, I was able to bring my several of my classes, as well as one more from the school, which was invited to the province, which is the first time that's ever happened. But the students themselves actually directly asked about that, because even they're scared about this, because they all live in a rural area, like around Beausejour, and several of them have been in that exact situation, that, you know, a loved one is on the floor and they're waiting for 30, 40 minutes for an ambulance. So they asked, and the premier, as well as the deputy premier, both addressed it, and they're very aware of that and wanting to address it. So.
Good. On a similar topic, I was at the Eastman Regional Municipal Committee meeting in Pinawa yesterday. And I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but Lac du Bonnet had a sod turning photo event in 2012 for 2012, maybe not 20, for a personal care home facility. And they were going to be moving ahead, and the sign is still there, but there is no personal care home. So, they had actually been making progress with the previous government.
No, it's not loud.
They have been making progress with the provincial government. The previous one, they had designs drawn up. They had PCL constructors involved and another big company. They were looking at building a hotel for their workers. They're looking at, 500 jobs in the community for this project. It's a over $60 million project. And they were informed recently that any project over $10 million was being put on pause. So this has a huge impact for this because they also have started up a vocational school, or they're starting a vocational school in one of the communities, and they have 200 students interested in taking the LPN course as well as the healthcare aid course. They are retrofitting their fire hall, one of the communities, for the students for this course, for the school. There's been commitments made to groups like PCL and other companies for this project, and now the province has put it on hold. So there will be some letters coming to councils to see if we could support Lac du Bonnet in trying to get this back on their agenda. And it's really a shame. It impacts the entire community. They've got.
It's just about the review.
They've got. I know, but it might be just about the review, but to just put everything on pause now when companies have hired employees or looking for employees.
Yeah, it's unconscionable. I would certainly be in favor of any form of support that this council can offer that.
There's so many seniors who are waiting in hospital beds. Some of them had to go to Dauphin. Well, that's not even near Beausejour or Lac du Bonnet.
Yeah.
So it's important for families to have these healthcare issues looked at and addressed. So.
Well, there was some talk about trying to get municipalities to put forward a coordinated effort and possibly even contribute some money towards the training facility. The training facility that's being proposed is in Beausejour.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, that's in Beausejour. That's in Beausejour. The personal care home that's on pause is in Lac du Bonnet.
Correct. Yeah. So it is really indeed sad that this thing has started 11 years ago, canceled, and then restarted, and now canceled again. It's like a gold darn yo-yo.
Well, they do like to say it's not canceled, it's just on pause, but.
Well,
So I'll keep you informed.
Let's hope it's not too long a pause. But I think, AMM is working on trying to put forward a bit of a coordinated effort, and I certainly would be supporting having our municipality become a voice of support as well.
Yeah, and at our meeting yesterday, they said that they would, they had written a letter and they would like to send sort of a template letter to councils to send in as well. So everyone in the committee, there's 10 communities agreed with the letter.
Very, very good.
All right, thank you. So be it resolved to adopt the monthly committee reports as presented. Mover, Steve, second, Graham. Any further comments? All those in favor?
All right.
Carried. Erwin and or Ian, I'm not hearing from you, but we have quorum. We're moving on. Accounts and finances. Be it resolved, the following list of accounts be approved for payment. Total payments in the amount of $42,107.94 for check number 11838 to 11885. May I have a mover? Steve, thank you. Graham, second. Thank you. Any comments on the accounts, gentlemen?
I feel that I should abstain from this vote because I haven't had a chance to review them because my email has been so messed up.
I didn't see anything outrageous. It was all pretty.
I've looked through it. It all seems to be in order. There's really nothing contentious in here. It's pretty much routine, including the big fat number to Winnipeg Free Press, but that's hopefully a good investment.
That's the golf course ads, so let's hope.
Yeah, just there's $5,000 check to Munisite for our website. That's for next year. We're prepaying it. Bought some diesel for 5,000. Manitoba Hydro close to 5,000 as well. Everything else is just phone, basic cleaning, basic operations. Safety check for some vehicles, $2,500. Legal support throughout the last couple of months for 2,600. Yeah, that's it.
All right, I'm not sure if you're back. Ian, do you have any comments on the accounts and finances? Ian?
No.
All right, hearing nothing.
We should be able to hear Erwin because he's bad.
Yeah. Erwin, do you have any concerns or comments about the finances?
No, they seem to be in order, pretty routine stuff.
The form, yeah.
All right. Okay, thank you. So hearing nothing further, all those in favor?
Agreed.
Okay, thank you, carried. Steve is abstaining because he hadn't had a chance to look at them. But we had three.
Yep.
All right, business arising from previous meeting. Nothing, hearing nothing new. All right, new business. The MOU for Benchmark, which is a maintenance agreement. Be it resolved to approve the maintenance agreement between the Rural Municipality of Victoria Beach, Storefront, Manitoba, to authorize Mayor Morris to sign the agreement on behalf of council. May I have a mover? Graham, thank you. Steve, second, thank you. I apologize to Storefront and to council. This has been sitting on my plate for way too long, and it got buried underneath a few other things. I've had a chance to review the maintenance agreement. It's for the nesting loops off the Macaulay Trail.
Yep.
And it's pretty basic. You can check the bolts and make sure nothing's falling apart. I've talked to Public Works about it. They're fine. They'll just add it to their list to just go by and give it a look. And
It's common sense maintenance, which is our responsibility. I note that it's for 10 years and then it expires.
yeah, I don't have any concerns, and Public Works didn't have any. Lon, did you have any concerns?
That's good. That's good enough for me.
All right, hearing nothing further, all those in favor?
All right.
Carried.
Agreed.
Thank you, Erwin. Carried. Move on to correspondence, information, announcements. Anything, gentlemen?
Everybody's concerned about is on the website. So there you go.
Yeah. Local notices has some updates on projects. Anything else? It's been actually fairly quiet, so.
Yep. That won't last.
All right. Ian or Erwin, do you have anything to add to correspondence, information, or announcements?
Just one thing, Mayor McMorris. I want to thank Sally Lawler for bringing to my attention an issue with respect to accessibility at our new office.
Yes.
And for the benefit of everyone who may have accessibility issues, there's parking spaces behind the new office. There is a fully accessible ramp, which would allow wheelchairs to access the building. When you get to the back door, you're gonna have to knock on the door because it is locked. And I would suggest if you're planning to come to the office for a council meeting after 4:30, it wouldn't be a bad idea to phone ahead of time just to make sure that someone is going to be there before 6 o'clock to open the back door. But there is no access. There is a fully accessible washroom. Now, if you come in the front door off of Portage Avenue, you cannot access the washroom because the washrooms are located upstairs, only 3 stairs up, but there's no ramp. So if you have accessibility issues, we certainly welcome you to come to the meetings, but park in the back and use the accessibility ramp. And again, thanks, Sally, for bringing that matter to my attention, and I wanted to share with everyone in the community that may have accessibility issues.
The problem though is that if you come in the back, you can't access the main council area.
Correct, but you could sit on that little ledge that there's a space
Yeah, it's fine.
up on top of the stairs where you could view what was going on during the council meeting.
Well-
It's something that we need to.
Do I have any deals?
No, but if it became an issue, I think you put a lift on the stairs.
It's something that we need to address sooner than later because the point of accessibility is to ensure that people are not treated any differently.
Right.
So, yeah, it's not so much like you can sit on the lift, I suppose temporarily, but that's not the point.
Correct.
If I could add my own remark, getting in the back door, the ramp that winds around is not lit at all. It's not lit nicely. I pointed that out to Lon and he graciously said that he will arrange for some sort of lighting so that people can see where they're going if they decide to use the ramp out the back. So thank you for that.
That's an excellent idea, Graham. Thank you.
And we have Mike Bellhouse here, so he can help us with some suggestions as well. That's why he came.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, so, all right. Anything further, gentlemen? Oh.
This is weird. Like,
This is
a
weird.
Fast, like,
I know.
second meeting.
So before we adjourn, I would like to wish all of those residents who are listening in, happy holidays. Council, lawn, admin, public works, fire, police, golf course, who am I missing? Everybody who works so hard in our community for our community, thank you and happy holidays. We'll see you in 2024.
Thank you so much.
So I'm just gonna, if I can just say hi to my students, because for some reason they're
Please do.
watching, for some reason they're watching our council meeting.
Well, I mean, why you combed your hair?
No, I can't work with it. I guess most of them are having a hard time sleeping.
Must be. All right. On that note, be it resolved, the December 19th, 2023 regular council meeting be adjourned, and to confirm the next council meeting will be on Tuesday, January 9th, 2024 at 6 p.m. here in Winnipeg, gentlemen.
Yes.
Winnipeg,
Okay,
January 9th,
got it.
6 p.m.
Okay.
All right. May I have a mover? Steve, second, Graham. All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you, and thank you. Let you turn that off, Lon.
Mhm.